Crypto market had a crazy 24 hours where everything dropped. Now some of them are already coming back in the green for last 24 hours. Last 1 week they're turning in green, and at this time what I would like to highlight with you guys, crypto market just went crazy. Last 24 hours has been so volatile. A lot of people decided to move out. Some decided to double down. And what's really happening? Are you going to look at massive crash ahead? Or are you looking at big guys entering and buying tons so they know what's coming ahead? Is that the case, or it's the opposite? If you look at this is historical price fluctuation with the indicators here. Whenever RSI went below this on a 3-day chart for Bitcoin, it was kind of a buying opportunity. You start accumulating day 1 and 2, done, you accumulated there, the price go back up. Again, here, when the price was going down like this in the bear market, you got this low in the RSI. If you bought here, you made a lot of money. If you bought here, again, you made a lot of money. Now, we already had this one. Whether we are going to come touch this again or not is something which no one knows. But if you look at this one in history, you get to see same thing. Now, if you go into the altcoin market, you see the same stuff. Whenever the RSI is at the bottom, if you buy here, most likely you're going to make money. If you buy here, you're going to make money. If you buy here, you're going to make money. So if that's happening in the market again and again and again and again, what makes you think like, okay, this time it's different and we are going to the downside? Because still a lot of people believe that's happening, but this thing is not changing. Inflows to the exchange is like about $1 billion, when the outflows or people, those who are moving out to fiat exchanges to move the money, is just 156 million. So I'm like, okay, that's crazy, because I see 1.3 billion moving into crypto exchanges to buy. And you get some of the information here, like a lot of big guys, the venture capitals, are buying crazy. So you can decide whether you're going on the direction of the money so that you follow the money to make money, or you can move the different way, being a contrarian in this case. Now, when you are looking at the BTC market flows, inflows to the exchanges have increased 100%. Now, you may actually go nuts and ask like, okay, whoa, what the heck is really happening, right? And then you see like, okay, inside that, it's 35,000 going into fiat exchanges, whereas 93,000 is to crypto exchange. So you see a lot of guys are moving here and there, and there is a huge reason for that. Because if you are in the market and understanding this, now you know what's coming in. Because if you are looking at this and saying like, okay, we are going down, I would urge you to actually consider where we are in this price line, zoom a little bit out and drop a line there and see what happened before. Because when you do that, you get to see something like this. And you don't really want to neglect that possibility of the price literally making a double bottom here and starting to go back up. Because at the same time, you look at the RSI, it's slowly coming back off on a 3-day chart. And you know what happened? You are coming out from this bottom, which you haven't visited for a very long time. So most likely, you are going to see the prices go back higher. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, what's happening in the market right now with Bitcoin dominance breaking lower and the altcoin dominance taking off? We've talked about this and we are following this one, and we would continue to do this because right now we observe pairs in BTC is getting that head up so that we can say it is starting to move. Now, especially for XRP, if you are looking at on a BTC pair, you say like, okay, we are still at the bottom, somewhere close to the bottom. And that's what usually I think a big investor, a small investor, anyone learns in the market. buy low. But the hard part is no one can time the market well and you remain close to the bottom for a couple of years, and that's painful. But what I would highlight right now on a weekly chart for XRP BTC pair is that the RSI is breaking out like this. And when it happens, for me personally, I would say that, okay, that's a signal a big move is coming soon. Now, if you go back in history and actually take the same perspective and lay it out, you can actually look at this similarly. You had a break higher here, and maybe in a week or two, now let's see, to be precise, if we put a time on that, we'll take a vertical line and drop it where we broke higher. So somewhere here. Okay, so in 2 weeks time, you started going nuts. Now, whether you want to be in that train, whether you want to move out, it's all completely up to you. But if that's the history which we are learning from, I would argue that most of us really want to stay inside that. Why would you want to move out of an asset which is about to take off, right? Now, the logic behind this goes on. Every time you see a macro trend being broken, within few days, you see the price starting to move higher. So here, if you see when we actually broke that line, it's like 120 days. And that was waiting 120 days, I agree. But in 150 days, you went nuts. Now, this is against BTC. So against USD, you will see much more bigger fluctuations. Now, inside that range of time, you didn't have certain volatility. You did not have huge fundamentals evolving. But right now, if you are here in the market and looking at this, this is bonkers for XRP. Now, Bank of International Settlements coming out and saying liquidity bridges across central banks for cross-border payments is something really big. Now, when I'm looking at this, if you read through this stance, I would say like, okay, they really want large value payments with a high liquid system where you don't really want to pre-fund the account. So a central bank liquidity bridge is what they are calling. It's a short-term intraday liquidity arrangement setup between 2 or more central banks. So in a liquidity bridge, collateral held by the PSP with one central bank can be used by PSP's related entity in any jurisdiction. So you are looking at large value payments. So for them to move that money, what they're going to do, they are going to hold it. Now, if you actually want to use Interledger protocol and you're going to use XRP Ledger for that matter, you would hold that in XRP. And that is something which we have heard from a long time. And then when you actually go back and look at what's happening in the short term, medium term and all, you're like, okay, this is huge. XRP Ledger is being used to build a lot of different projects, and with the CBDC era coming out, you're going to see massive requirements for this asset because of its utility. Now, when you are here in the market, yes, you do see a lot of FUD coming against this, but this being highlighted again and again is not something small. This report provides a practical framework for whom central banks in considering the potential design and feature choice of a central bank liquidity bridge. Because if you hold XRP and you're now doubtful whether you should hold it, sell it and all, you may need this. Definitely you may need this. Now, when you are in the market, one thing which I really want to highlight is when the market goes down, the FUD is going to be so high to push you out of the market. Whether that individual intend to do that or not, who knows, but a lot of people were actually pushing that. Now, what I was personally sharing here with my members was like, okay, this is a support, and it also happens to be the last all-time highs, and as we discussed, a critical level, right? So personally, I was thinking that this is going to bounce. This is the falling wedge which we broke higher. We are retesting that, and we are at a long-term support. But how did the market respond? The market actually came out responding like this. And I'm really happy that it did like that. Because one thing is for you to sit there and look at the charts and see like, okay, what are the odds? Now you can be right, you can be wrong. What you're looking at is the probability of what the market can do. It may not do that, but you're trying to find that higher probability move, so you're positioned well, at least mentally, even if you are not moving much in your portfolio. Because for some, when the price drops 5%, it hurts. It hurts a lot because the price is already massively down, and when they see another 5%, it goes into their portfolio. It's a red number, big number. It hurts. But if you're looking for the long-term, ultra parabolic run coming in the market, I suggest you actually look at these. This is how the market change. It slowly start to change. Now, when I was actually looking through this, I'm not only saying this is going to be just one asset winning everything, but what I'm trying to highlight here is that there will be a lot of different projects with utility. See, one of which, other than XRP, we've seen here is like a lot of this are working, and Dent kind of retweeting this is something important. Imagine when the time comes with cell phones without SIM card slots. It's going to push the adoption of eSIM cards, and I think that is actually coming in. When you see how this system works, you download the Dent app in your mobile and how things work, micro cap, low cap, whatever you call, things are going to go for nuts in these kind of assets. Because if you're looking for big gains, what you are most likely looking at is an undervalued asset, which means you definitely believe that the asset has a lot of utility and the price is way lower than the value it offers. Now, that's what I personally understand when I'm at least learning. Now, we are all students of the market. Now, when you go into the market and see, things like what the Buddy or Raul tweets out, I'm personally like, okay, these guys, now literally, these guys, especially for Michael Burry, I would actually say like, okay, these are the guys who are like legends in the market, and we are like students trying to learn, and that too running on a diapers in the market learning stuff, where these guys are the tall legends, right? So when we listen to them and read through these points, it kind of gives you some highlight. In one of a tweet, he actually pointed out that it's crypto market, stock market, everything check. And then he actually comes out on another tweet highlighting, like, let me see if I can find that. He actually highlights like, okay, there will be a lot more failures. And crypto market, especially, now as a student of the market, I'm trying to look at what this guy is saying. And I'm looking at crypto market and understood like there is a lot of failures. You start from Luna crashing, pushing Celsius in a block fight. You got a chain reaction of multiple organizations who were leveraged getting bam, boom, right? That for me, at a point when the price is retesting its bottom, which is a long-term historical bottom, and the RSI suggesting it's kind of bottoming, gives me some level of confidence to say like, okay, things are changing. We have been trading. Now, this I think everyone would agree. We have been trading inside this range for like 500 days, and now we are breaking higher and moving higher. That surely is something changing. Whether I agree, you agree or not, the market is showing us this. And at the same time, on the opposite side, after this long time, Bitcoin dominance is dropping lower. This is huge. So if you're in the market right now, I don't really want to confuse you. I don't really want to, make you skeptical. But what I really suggest you to do is go take whichever charting you like, TradingView, CoinTrader, whatever. You go look at this and ask for yourself, like we discussed about this last day. When we were trying to break higher, we talked about that. When we broke above the 20-day moving average, we did talk about that and highlight that the pattern suggests a reversal here. You got that bullish divergence in the RSI when you were making this base, and you moved higher from $1,000 all the way up to $2,000. You doubled. Now what we're looking at is falling wedge which broke higher, retested and bouncing strongly. MACD is just starting to cross. If you zoom in, what you're observing here is that the volume has just shifted to the upside, and mostly whenever that happens and the MACD crosses, that's actually a good sign. When you zoom out on the same stuff and take a look at like, okay, where we are We are just near that level of resistance where we want to break higher. So if you are looking at the market right now, I'm like, okay, this is something we repeatedly talked about here. If you get rejected and drop here in the strength of buyers, I agree, we are dropping. But when you get that slow motion near the resistance and a retest, that's like, okay, sellers are not backing down, they're trying to push the price down, but the buyers are becoming heavier. Whatever the sellers are dropping into the market is being absorbed by the buyers. So if you are here, you can decide completely for yourself, saying like, okay, do you think it's the sellers who are winning, or do you think it's the buyers? Because if you actually take another step back, become a macro guy, and look at this, what I would say is that yes, the price is still within the last range of candle, but it actually showed like it's showing a piercing candle effect where the price moved 80% higher. The next candle went above the last red candle here. So if you get another candle here, this happens to be a continuation pattern. But yes, we definitely want to actually see the macro not coming with another hammer to hit us down, because the CPI is going to come soon in a week. Then 23rd of this month, you're going to get the Fed coming out. Let's hope he's not going to come out with another hammer saying, I'm going to do a 75 basis point hike so I can kill economies and currencies like this. Now, if you are there trying to point this out to a lot of people, I personally was in one and I was talking about this, like, okay, we may actually go higher. Now it's happening. Now, most likely you're actually going to retest this level and bounce. But what's interesting here is that it's not only Korean won, it's a lot of currencies. And the economy is being kicked down or hammered down with the inflation scenario being highlighted like, okay, inflation is here to stay for a very long time. Great. Now you go back in history and look at what inflation looks like. And then you're like, okay, it goes up, it comes back down. It goes up, it comes back down. So you're looking for like last 50, 70 years and you're scratching and saying, okay, there is a possibility. This may peak, some may close and go back down. Great. If that happens, Fed is going to actually put in more interest rate here, means when you come down, it's going to go lower. Deflation. That's not going to be something good for a lot of currencies like this, where it's zombie economy, where you have a lot of household debt, more than your GDP, and then your corporate debt, everything is way more than you earn. Imagine you earn $100 and you want to pay back 120. Automatically, either you should earn more or you should print more. In terms of central banks, they will print more, devaluing your currency. I'm not saying they're going to go bankrupt. They will be there. They're banks. They won't go bankrupt. They'll print more. They can always print more. But what happens is your money, which is in the bank, your purchasing power gets hammered and you get wiped out if you're not properly prepared. Diversify if you are in fiat. Look at commodities if you are low risk individual. Otherwise, look for something which actually shows you medium risk, but at least it's at a historical low in terms of the strength, in terms of the indicators. You get to actually maximize your gain. Because when you're watching the MACD at this low, which we haven't visited till now, and the RSI trying to bounce back higher from this, I would actually, make it so much in terms of the bulls, because when you are making a double bottom possibility in the price and getting a higher low here in the RSI on a weekly, I would argue like the bulls are getting more and more strength. They are becoming stronger and it can come in the price. Let's see how the market's going to react. I can be completely wrong, I agree, but this is my perspective. Agreed? Can take it or dump it. It's all up to you. And if you really want to actually understand days like this when the price is dropping hard and people are moving out and scaring you, and you want updates like this where I, put my mind out and you see like what's happening, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, that's it for today and I'll meet you on the next video. Bye for now.